Alright, hello everyone. This is going to be the first in a series of tutorials on how to create and manipulate data in structured query language. My name's Eric, and we're gonna start off first by creating simple tables and then testing them inside of Oracle 11G. We're going to create our tables by using Notepad++, or we can go ahead and use SQL Developer. I have that software downloaded on my computer, but I think that using Notepad++ is a little bit of a better choice for beginners. So we'll go into Notepad++, and we'll start there. You can go to Language, go to the S section, and then click on SQL in order to specify that you want this file to be a structured query language file. What this will do for you is it will go on ahead and show you each word that you use, if it is a reserved word in SQL, and if it's not, then it will just show up as nothing. So for the purposes of this first tutorial, we're going to go ahead and create 4 simple tables. One's going to be a customer table, the next is going to be a supplier table, then a product table, and then finally a product order table, which will specify which products are ordered by which customers. We'll start by specifying how to create a table. The correct syntax for creating a table in SQL is create table. Then you have to give that table a name. In SQL, you can't have numbers and a name for any variable. So for this one, we'll call it tutorial customer table, and we'll put a little parentheses after that. And then when you create a table, you have to specify which attributes are going to be in that table. So for a table like a customer table, you're going to have a customer ID table, a customer ID attribute. Then you're going to have a first name attribute. Maybe you can get the customer's last name as well. Then we'll get the street they live on, as well as the city, the state, their zip code, and maybe even their phone number, right? And that's the pretty much the syntax for creating a table. Now, for each one of these attributes, you have to specify a data type. You have to say how this information is going to be read by the system. So for a customer ID, it may be a number, right? Like 321 or customer ID 218, something like that. It's going to be a number. And you're going to specify how large that number is going to be. We're going to say for this customer ID, it's going to be of type number, and it's going to have 3 spaces, So it's like 218, like I said, 139, things like that. For the first name, that's going to be of type varchar2. A little background. Varchar2 is a newer data type specified by a structured query language. It basically reserves in memory it reserves in memory the scale of that variable. So if the first name is like Eric, like my name, then it'll only use 4 characters. If it's something larger like Tiffany, it'll use the whole 7. All right. Last name as well. We'll specify varchar2. Make sure you get the commas after the attribute and data type. Street, same exact thing, varchar2. And I always use 30 just because I think that's a reasonable amount. City as well, varchar2. And state, we're going to say it's a type character because it can only be 2 characters. For state, the number. For zip, it can only be 5. And for phone, that's going to be a number as well, and that can only be up to 10, I believe. And there's no comma after the final line of code in your or definitions in SQL. So we got our first table here. It's called the tutorial customer table, and we're going to go over to our Oracle 11G work stream, right? And I think I have the table already for tutorial customer, so I'm going to drop that table. And we'll get into drop statements later on. We'll first start off with just simple table creation, and we'll get into this much later. All right, and so we'll go ahead and create that table. And of course, I got a compile error. It's because I forgot a comma. I'm so sorry about that. I mean, you're going to see all the correct code in the description at, below, so you can always get that from there. So as you can see, the table was created. It was a success. All right, and now we're going to go ahead and create the next table. So we'll have a table, and we'll call it the table supplier. Right, this is our table for vendors that provide us with products, our business with products, and it may have some attributes like supplier ID or name or street, like with customer, same attributes, street, city, state, zip, phone, right? And we will make these the same exact data types, kinda. Say specialize that bar chart 2, specify bar chart 2. Remember your commas. These are very important. Do not be like me, just running around without putting commas behind each one, because I promise you, you will get compile errors. You're probably wondering why state's blue. State is a reserved word in SQL, but it doesn't matter because we're specifying it as an attribute, so do not worry about that. And number, it's going to be 10, right? And we'll end it. Remember, no comma with your last line and data definition. Alright, so let's see if that worked. Oh, I'm sorry, I already have the table up. Okay, drop table. Actually, I already have the drop tables in here. I don't know why I keep going back. I've already dropped them. Alright, let me drop these stupid tables. Alright, okay, we dropped them. Now, as a rule of thumb, after you create all your tables, you're going to want to create some drop statements, kind of like these. See how I've got the drop tables up here? You're going to want to make those at the very top so that if you make changes to your tables, you don't run into any compile errors. Alright, so let's see if this table was correct. Alright, so we just created the table. Now, for the next table, we're going to name this one Create Table Tutorial Product. This will contain product information. We'll say that there's a product ID attribute, product name attribute, quantity and stock. We want to record quantity and stock. Reorder point, basically this will mean something like at what point do we reorder more product. We'll have a price attribute, how much does the product cost. And we'll also have a supplier ID attribute which references the supplier ID attribute in the supplier table. And I will walk you through that in just 1 second. Now, let's go ahead and specify each one of these attributes. Product ID will be of type number, right? Product name will be bar chart 2. I always do 30. Quantity and stock is a number. We'll say 2 because they'll probably be at max like around 50 or 100 product, 90 products, 99 out of 100. Reorder point, something like number 2, same thing. And the price. The price is something that I really want to hit with you guys. We'll say number. We'll say 52. Now you're probably wondering what does that mean. Basically, this first number here, 5, that represents scale. It means a number like this. Okay, 525.69. There are 5 numbers in here, right? This represents how many integers are going to be in your number, and this right here represents precision. It's how many integers are going to be on the right side of that decimal point. So if you want a number like 523.69 cents to be in your table, you're going to have to specify a scale of 5 and a precision of 2. We'll hit a little bit on that more later. It seems pretty straightforward, but people always mess that one up. And then for supplier ID, it has to match the same data type that we specified in the supplier table. It's going to be a type number, and it's going to have 3 spaces. Now, let's get into constraints now. Now, constraints can be used in order to specify primary keys, foreign keys, and checks. So for each table, you have to specify a primary key, and if there are foreign keys, you have to specify that as well. I think it's a smart idea to specify all your constraints at the end of your data definition. So take the first table for instance. It needs a primary key. So which one of these do you think is going to be the perfect primary key? The primary key has to be unique, and it can't contain any information that could be contained elsewhere in a different table. The obvious choice is this customer ID attribute. So what we're going to do is we're going to say constraint. We're going to name the variable tutorial customer PK primary key customer ID. Right? I'm going to put a comma right there because, like I said, only the last line doesn't have a comma. So we're going to go back. We're going to see if it works out. Customer cascade constraints. Okay, I already have it. Alright, so we're going to create that table. And of course, forgot my parentheses again. And as you see there, it did work. It worked out fine. Worked out perfectly fine. Same thing with this one. Which one's the best idea for a primary key? That's supplier ID up there. So we say constraint tutorial supplier primary key, and we'll specify it as supplier ID. Right? Put a comma right there, and that one's good to go. Just to check, just to make sure. I gotta drop the supplier table one more time. Alright, the table is created, no compiler errors. Alright, now let's try out this next table. Right? Okay, what's the best idea for the primary key, do you think? It's going to be product ID, right? So we'll say tutorial product primary key is going to be product ID. Now, there's also a foreign key here, right? That foreign key is the supplier ID. Now we're going to go ahead and reference that one. What we're going to write is constraint tutorial product FK, right? Doesn't matter what you put as the variable name. I just like it to be organized, so I put tutorial product FK. You can have multiple foreign keys. If you have multiple foreign keys, you just do tutorial product key FK1, tutorial product key, tutorial foreign key 2. That's all you got to do. Okay, now the foreign key is supplier ID. So we're going to put that in supplier ID. Very important, we also put this in. References, that's a reserved SQL word. References tutorial supplier, no space, parentheses, supplier ID. Let the system know that the supplier ID for tutorial product is the same for tutorial supplier. The same one used in tutorial supplier. So we go ahead and end that table. Let me go back and drop all my tables again, just because I'm tired of running into problems. Alright, we drop these tables. And like I said, we will get into this. And let's see if we got any compiler errors. We shouldn't have. I think everything is correct. How have I not addressed that issue yet? Remember your parentheses. Please remember those parentheses. They are so important. Alright, so all three tables were created. Now we're going to get into our final table. It's going to be called tutorial product order. Alright, it's going to have order ID, product ID, customer ID, right? Order date, the date that the product was ordered, date that the product was shipped, payment type, and that will probably be all the attributes we need. Okay, so for the order ID, it's going to be of type number. It will specify four places. Product ID will be number 3. That's the same data type assigned in the tutorial product table. Customer ID is going to be number. It's going to have a scale of 3, because that's what was specified in the customer table. Remember your commas. Very important. Order date. It'll be of data type date. That's simple, nothing more to that. Ship date, same thing, of data type date. Payment type will be char 2, and we're going to make a constraint for this. I'm going to show you how to make, just regular everyday constraints besides primary keys and foreign keys. And that'll be everything that we need. Now, we got to specify our primary key. You're probably wondering how to handle tables that have 2 primary keys, 2 attributes acting as the primary key. Well, here's how you do that. You do tutorial product order, PK, right? Primary key. And when you specify the attributes, you just put in the first one, comma, and the second one. That's simple. Nothing else to it. Nothing else to it at all. Now we make our foreign key, because we do have a foreign key. Foreign key product ID. Product ID is acting as a foreign key and a primary key. That references tutorial product, and the attribute that it references is product ID. So that was the first foreign key, so I'm going to just put FK1 just so that it's nice and neat. So constraint tutorial product order FK2 foreign key customer ID. That references tutorial customer ID. And don't put any spaces between the table name and the attribute it references for those foreign keys. Now, real quick, I'm just going to show you how to create a constraint so that that there aren't any so no attributes are getting values that they shouldn't have. For instance, you see this payment type attribute up here. Let's say we only want this to read credit card or check. So in order to do that, we say constraint. We make a variable name. We'll say tutorial payment or product payment CK. Right? It doesn't matter what you call it. Just like primary key, foreign key, stuff like that. It does not matter at all what you call it. Just name it whatever you want. I'm going to say check. Parentheses here. I'm going to say payment type equals, and we can also say like it's greater than or less than a number, but we'll say equals check, right? And or it could equal credit card. Okay, kind of close our parentheses up here. Alright, and we should be good. So let's see if there's any compile errors when I go on ahead and throw that into Oracle 11G. Absolutely none. So the table was created. So, like I said, it's proper etiquette to just go on ahead and drop every object that you created whenever you create scripts like this. So we're going to drop table tutorial customer, right? And the reason that I just can't say drop table tutorial customer is because there are, other constraints in here, I can't just say drop table tutorial product and I'm done. I mean, tutorial product, it has, foreign keys. It's got a reference to supplier, and if supplier is still around and I'm going around dropping foreign keys left and right, they can't reference, those attributes in other tables. So what I do is I specify, I say drop table tutorial customer, and just to be, just so I don't get any compile errors, I say cascade constraints. Right? That's going to get rid of your constraints. It's going to get rid of everything in the table that certain attributes relate to other tables. So that's one. Drop table tutorial supplier, right? Cascade constraints. Drop table tutorial product, cascade constraints. Drop table tutorial product order, cascade constraints. We go back to Oracle 11G. We paste all that information in. Table dropped, table dropped, table dropped, table dropped, and tables created. Now, this is going to be the end of the first tutorial on how to create tables as well as specify data types and make constraints in Oracle 11G. I will pick up in my next tutorial talking about creating sequences, inserting data into your tables, proper syntax for that. And if there's time, I'll also get into format masks, how to specify how dates are presented, telephone numbers, stuff like that. So I will go ahead and wrap up here, and I hope to see you all next time.